Hi everyone, I'm just in from work and I thought I would film a little bit of vlog content because I've not done that for a very long time. In fact, I can't remember the last time we were here filming in my kitchen. I think that was post my last little break that I went on. And I was in the car on my way to work this morning, and I'm usually like ticking over ideas in my head for my channel, and the most recent being I've kind of wanted to start a series which by the time you're watching this, if you sort of are a regular viewer of my channel, you'll have seen. It's a series I've titled A Lighter Life, and it's just about making the most of life as we know it. I think I've really come into the realization of accepting the world as it is in some regards. Like, there's not a lot I can change and it's not always easy. I feel for a lot of people, and a lot of women especially, we're going out to work, we're working full-time jobs, and in some people's cases that is out of choice, and for others it's almost out of necessity, that households need two incomes, and then coupled with that, just life being incredibly chaotic. For me, fitting in everything I want to do around work, so I do work full-time, I also want to look after my health, and I want to go to the gym, and I want to be able to walk and run and things like that. Coupled with maintaining a household, it's really important for me that my house doesn't fall into madness. I want to keep on top of it. And, you know, I quite like cleaning and things, so it's not that I don't want to do those things, it's that finding the time to keep on top of those things I'm finding to be particularly difficult. And then things like today, I'll talk about what I'm cooking in a second, like having the chance to cook home cooked meals, nutritious meals, balanced meals, meals that I can track for myself, alongside having hobbies and other things, creative outlets that I enjoy doing, and then finding time to see family, and then finding time to rest. I don't have kids. I don't understand how people with kids are juggling all of this, because these are all the things I want to do and I'm finding it difficult. So I wanted to create that channel as not only an avenue for myself to make sure I find ways to incorporate all the elements that I want to have in my life, and I want to find ways to do all the things that are important to me, but I also want to see if I can share some ideas, whether that's financially, like the financial content you'll be used to, whether it's minimalism or simplicity and just living a simpler life. All sorts of avenues really, just about us kind of accepting the world is the way it is, and there isn't going to be any sort of easy fix from that, and so really just making the most out of it and consciously trying to be happy in the things that we want to do. That was a long explanation, but that's something I've been thinking about for a while, and it's definitely something I want to explore, hopefully to bring positivity as well as information and something that's useful. I've always enjoyed the videos where I feel like I'm providing information, where it's not just me chit-chat talking about myself and my life. I'm not actually that interesting, so I wanted that outlet to be able to do that. But then on the flip side of that, I am really aware that the people that have watched my channel for a long time, a lot of you like that more chatty content. And I did have a great time the other day filming that get ready with me video and just having the opportunity to do a bit of chit chatting. So if I'm going to go down the avenue of something that hopefully is a helpful series that is more informative, ways to make life simpler, better, and in my little channel trailer I said something along the lines of, so we were actually living our best lives and not just feeling like day to day we are just surviving, which I quite like. But on the flip side, it would be nice to balance that with some of the old style content as well as more chatty things. And I've only ever created a handful of vlogs in my entire channel life, so I thought, why not give that a go as well, because that really would create some sense of balance. So here we are after work in September, and I'm just heating up because, as I said, one of the things we like to do is to cook. And Tom and I were having this conversation the other day. We both love to cook, but it does become a bit of a chore when it's just cramming it in order to get it into a busy day. Yesterday we took the time and we cooked a new recipe. In fact, the book is still open on this page, my trusty old cookbook, and we made a hearty beef stew. And one of the great things about that is it's full of protein and veggies. It tastes nice, and I'm totally feeling the autumnal comfort food already. We're only just into September and I'm already here for it. And I made enough that we've got leftovers for today. So after a very busy day at work, it's nice to come home and I've got that, and I just need to heat it up. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm standing and heating it through. So that's my job right now. And to be quite honest, I'm not entirely sure how long I should be heating this through, but I'm very paranoid with things like that. So I will go over the top rather than not do it enough. So that's what I'm doing right now, just heating that through. And honestly, I am, as I've said, really loving the autumn vibes. One of my autumn blazers is back out, not the full autumn outfit. This outfit is still quite not autumnal, but I can't wait for the little woolen skirts and the shirts and the blazers. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So that's where we're at. And those are the two veins I'm kind of thinking of coming at with my channel. So this is the introduction, very long, I've been talking for ages already. This is the introduction to a first sort of vlog, if you like. And so Tom and I are going to eat this. I need to get some bowls out, which I can't do because I've positioned you perfectly in front of the cupboard where all my bowls are. And then we're going to get changed, head to the gym and get that done. And we've decided then we'll take the evening off. So both of us do things with social media, and we've decided we're not going to do anything like editing tonight. So we're going to do the gym, come home, freshen up, and then we've decided we're going to go out for the evening and we are going to go and see the new Conjuring film in the cinema, which sounds absolutely horrifying to me. I've never been a big horror film person, to be honest, but over the last few weeks Tom and I have been kind of pulling in a few in the evenings as a way to take back time, rest and spend time together. And so we've watched most of the films in the Conjuring franchise, and yeah, I've been pretty scared for most of them, but not long lasting. It's not been awful, but the thought of seeing a horror film in the cinema, big and loud and in the dark with all the jump scares, is terrifying me a little bit. So if I survive, this vlog will continue. So if it looks like the video is a bit longer, you'll know I'm okay. So that is tonight, and that's just one of the ways we're giving time back to ourselves. So home cooked meal, using leftovers to make it easier, being to work, going for the gym, and having time to, if you like, sort of go on a little date night. So that's fab. So I think this is bubbling well enough. It might be time to dish up. We are back from the gym, quick refresh and change, ready to go out to the cinema. I was thinking we haven't been to the cinema for ages. In fact, I think Tom and I have only been once, so this will be quite cute for us. I say cute, it's going to be a scary film, so we'll see. I thought I'd check in and do a little outfit share, why not? I'm going for mildly autumn vibes with the greens and the browns, and I'm also wearing brown boots. And this is just sort of adding a little extra something, a little autumn vibe to what is essentially just a basics outfit, white shirt, black leggings. So nothing fancy, keeping it casual for cinema going. Wish me luck with The Conjuring, we will see. It is now Wednesday and we are back home. I'm going to stop stirring that because that will be too noisy. I'm hoping you can hear me over the sound of sizzling. Back in the kitchen and continuing the slightly cosy vibes, comfort food with shepherd's pie. Actually, I tell a lie, cottage pie. It's not got lamb in it. And I'm trying, like I did with the stew, turn that down a minute, and I'm trying to duplicate portions. So with the stew, I made enough for 4 portions, which meant we could have a portion each the day we made it and a portion each the next day. With this, my recipe, my trusty book, again, if it's going to focus on it, there you go, says that it serves 6. So I'm thinking I'll do 1 normal size pan for 4 pieces, and then if there's enough, I'll do 2 little glass containers and freeze them and see what happens there. This might seem really obvious to some people, but I've not been a big maker and freezer in the past, but with everything being so busy, I'm looking for ways to still enjoy this sort of comfort food, cozy autumn vibe. But this and stew and things like that, I'm finding they take a long time to cook. So if I can make 3 days worth of portions in one go, that seems like a win for me, so we can keep enjoying this food even when we're super busy. So we will see how that goes. Any tips on reheating frozen shepherd's pie? I'm guessing just in the oven and covered so it doesn't burn, but let me know. So I've got my cheat chicken stock, not real chicken stock, from a cube chicken stock, and I was actually surprised that a recipe for this one is for shepherd's pie, but again, lamb, and I'm doing cottage pie with beef because Tom's not a big fan of lamb. I don't know why chicken stock, so in we go with it anyway. Just get that moving. My potatoes are on the go. I'm also going to do a side of tender stem broccoli with it. So my thought being, when I go to have the second portion tomorrow or the frozen portion, really all I've got to do is cook the broccoli. Excuse the outfit, we're still working the bottom. Didn't want to splash my blazer whilst cooking, so stolen Tom's hoodie. Who knows, maybe it goes with the cozy autumn vibes. Right, recipe, what's next? Flour. My cupboards are so crazy and out of order at the minute. That's something I really need to do, and given that food storage space in this kitchen, or any storage space in this kitchen, is very limited, I don't know how everything gets so out of order. So let's go with flour. Now this isn't actually a tablespoon, so I'm going to go for a heaped one. And again, hope for the best. We make it up as we go. Oh, and since we're back here and we're talking, that means we did survive The Conjuring. It was not too like gory scary, that was fine. Lots of jump scares though, and when you're in the cinema and it's really loud, it gets you even more. Even like the silliest little things were making me jumpy. Things that weren't meant to make you jumpy made me jumpy. But all in all, I thought it was really good, and I survived my first cinema horror movie experience. So that's something. Right, let's get some dishes out. So I'm going for 4 portions in here, sort of standard sized container, and then hopefully have enough left to fill these 2 little ones, which we can then have as potentially frozen leftovers. So we shall see. So I'll do the portioning up, and then I will also show you what else I've been doing. That worked out pretty well. I'm just now hoping I've done enough mash. And I'm just going to set a little 30-minute timer. And then another thing I'm doing is just working out the calories and everything as I go along. Tom and I have generally just been keeping track of what we're eating, not really to be majorly restricting calories, but just so we can balance what we're putting in with what's going out in terms of our gym and running, badminton and walking. So I'm totting up everything I've put in to then share approximately 6 ways for each of the portions, and we're finding this is working quite well for us just to maintain balance. If I don't track my calories, I lose complete control, and so it's nice to know, both on the side of remaining balanced and healthy, but also knowing on days where your main meals are a bit lower in calories, where you can have a treat. And I'm a big believer in having a treat where we can. So something I've started doing when making meals from scratch is just making sure I track what's going in it. So that's my next job. And then we will see how the cottage pie comes out when it's done. Tom has been in and he has mashed. So we have good mash. Everything split really well over 6 portions, so happy about that. When it's done, it's just crisping off in the oven now, whilst the broccoli is cooking. And when it's done, I will show you what it looks like. And then the challenging part will be presenting it on a plate without, you know, making it just splash everywhere. So I'll do my best, but I'll show you in just a mo. One thing I do like to do as I go along, or try my best to do, in order to save time as much as possible, particularly with a meal where you're fairly hands-on in the kitchen. It's not the sort of thing where you can disappear for an hour whilst it cooks. You kind of need to be here. So whilst I'm here in the space, I might as well make the most of it because I'm not getting anything else done. I will try to clean up as I go along. So everything is away that needs to be away, and all I'll do once we're served up, because if we're being real, I'm going to spill some. And so I'll do one last wipe down at the end, but it really does just maximise the time I'm in here, so there's less cleanup afterwards, so we can start to unwind and enjoy our evening. So I will check in with you when I'm all done and ready to go. It is now Sunday and I'm continuing with the autumn vibes with, I thought I'd share with you the entirety of my autumn decor, which isn't a lot. And it really does feel like autumn today. There's a gorgeous tree in my neighbour's front garden, which is sort of like just opposite outside my window, and it is absolutely covered in red berries now, so that's come up really quickly. And for those of you who have watched my gardening videos, my pyracantha, the orange berries, are everywhere now, so that's looking really good. But it's a real mixed vibe in the garden because my roses actually came back. I didn't think they would. I thought because I'd moved them they'd be done for the year, and they came back in full bloom, and they are a gorgeous pink and white swirled rose, very summery vibe. So it's a bit of a doesn't know what's going on in the garden with the colour scheme at the moment. So, as I said, I thought we could look through autumn decorations. So, I always say that I'm not that big on decorating for the seasons, and I generally limit my decorating to, I want to say, one area of the house. So, if I'm going to decorate for autumn, and go with me on this because I don't know if this is just me and I'm being a little bit weird, but if I want to decorate for autumn, I'm thinking, like I've said earlier in this vlog, sort of comfort food and autumn vibes and that sort of thing. And for me, that primarily takes place in the kitchen. So if I'm going to put out any sort of autumn decorations, for me, that feels like that should be in the kitchen, and there's not really anything I want to do in the living room to make me have those autumn vibes. I know at some point we'll be sitting and watching like autumn films or Halloween films, but for me, that emotion, that feeling tied with the cozy autumn vibes is primarily kitchen based. I'm all about the simplicity, and I'm not really about decorating the whole house for autumn, with the one exception, and I will be putting my autumn wreath on the front door. So this is one I got, one of those kits last year, and I made it. In fact, it was one of the first sort of at-home dates Tom and I had together. We did again, cozy vibes sort of autumn roast lunch on a Sunday, and this was when he lived not here, in a, if you like, very much English countryside village. So we were able to walk down into the village and go to the butcher's to get something for our roast, and then down to the greengrocers to get the veg and whatnot, and that was really lovely. And in between sort of cooking bits for that, we sat, and I say we sat, I created the autumn wreath and Tom monitored the dinner, but it was one of our first little dates, so I thought that was quite cute, and it's survived. It's not been too crushed or anything, so I'm going to pop that up on the front door. However, Tom also had a wreath from his house. And so it would be nice to put it up somewhere though that has got, like, these have come loose, so I'm gonna have to get my glue gun out. And I have noticed, I don't know where it's from, but they have gone really chunky. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Gone really chunky on some of the glue patches, and they're really, really obvious. And I don't know if I'll be able to sort of minimise that. Like, there's some really big bits. And I can't tell if there were things there once upon a time that have now come off. But anyway, if I fix that, it'd be nice to put that up somewhere. So I could put that up in the kitchen as part of the decorating in there. I've got a brown ribbon and a green ribbon to attach this to my door. I do have a hook, but it's a weird hook that I have to like string to the wreath. And at the minute it's on my winter wreath, and the idea of having to cut all that off and waste a whole load more string, if I can make something that I can do separately, that would be fab. So there's that. Trying not to break any more wreaths. And then I just have this trusty little carrier bag in which I have a gold pumpkin, because this was from my era where everything in here was white furniture and gold accents, and I still have some of those. Like, you can see I've got a planter. You might just be able to see I've got a planter. Is that in screen? Don't know. And things like you won't be able to see, but I've got my little feather ornament that some of you might remember from years past, and so at the time it felt very fitting to also have a gold pumpkin. So I have that one. Testing some of you now, see what you can remember. And then the only other thing I have is this glass pumpkin, which again I also think is quite beautiful. And so it would be nice for these to go out. Although I've just noticed this is actually starting to get a bit rusty on the metal, and I don't know why, because it's kept wrapped in towels. Oh look, you can see the rust on the towel. It's kept wrapped in towels and bubble wrap in a bag, in a box, under the stairs, which is like centre of the downstairs of the house, so it doesn't get cold or damp or anything in there. So the fact that that started to rust is a bit odd. I'll see what I can do to remedy that, but I don't know if there will be anything. We'll just have to add to the aesthetic. So that's that. So I've got a couple of little autumn bits to pop around the house. I've given it a go. I've tried to keep this little section, so my little table centerpiece, if you will, really, really simple. So you can see the gold pumpkin. This is a candle that has been out year round. For the amount of time we actually sit at the table for an extended period of time, this candle doesn't get lit very often, although that is something I would like to change. I would like for us to be able to have more time to sit and enjoy our food at the end of the day. And then this little jar with a few little stems in it was something from Tom's previous house that had just been living in the utility room, because I did like it, but at the time it didn't have anywhere else to go. So it's nice to just switch a few things around that fit with what you've got going on in order to use them, and things that were on this little centerpiece tray before can sort of be relocated as a result. So it's not required anything extra, and it means the things we do have, we can get some use out of them. And then for the section behind me, I've kept my weekly meal planning board there. That's really useful for us for planning purposes, and I quite like the vibe, especially in the autumn. Our chopping boards are there for practicality. We reach for them pretty much every single day, so it's good to have those nearby. I really wanted to keep that page of my recipe book open on the hearty beef stew. I just love the picture, and I know that's probably a little bit silly and causes a bit of clutter, but I really liked having it out. So we'll see how many days that lasts before I get sick of looking at it. And then I've just decorated with that orange pumpkin you saw and a jug of artificial flowers. Something else from Tom's house. Up until now we've been keeping on the hob as like a decoration. but now we've got the larger stew pot out, that really just needed somewhere else to go. And Tom also has a pestle and mortar, which we've actually not used since he's lived here, but it's quite a nice one and it was worth keeping, and so we keep it out just as sort of a decorative but potentially functional feature. And because that corner is quite busy, there's a lot going on, I'm not certain I'm 100% happy with it. I might change it around a little bit. I've tried to keep the rest of the worktops and space quite clear and minimal. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about today is jewellery. This has been a highly requested video for me to make. However, I don't think I have enough jewellery related stuff to make a full video, but I did still want to talk about it because it's something that has been requested, as I've said. But my jewellery setup is now very simple, and all of this came from being a bit brutally honest with myself about which of my jewellery I actually wear. In my latest jewellery video, which was about a year ago, just over a year ago potentially now, I talked about my everyday jewellery and my going out jewellery, and then just like other jewellery that I had. And a lot of that other jewellery that I had, sort of simple gold chains, stackable ones, little huggy hoop earrings, things like that, I still have them, but if I'm being honest, I'm probably overdue a declutter by now, because in the last year I haven't worn them. So if I talk you through simply the jewellery that I actually wear, that will probably be a lot easier. So my everyday jewellery consists of this set of earrings. I do have my ears pierced twice, but I can't actually remember the last time I wore 2 sets. So I could wear these with something else, but I never feel the need to. These are very simple. They're just sort of a twisted, braided gold hoop. And these are many, many years old. They were from Ana Luisa, which is a New York-based brand. And then the necklace that I wear every day was a gift that Tom got me for my birthday, and prior to that I'd stopped really having a consistent necklace that I was wearing all the time because none of my other necklaces really appealed to me, or there were some that were more sentimental than wearable, and I wanted to maintain those and protect those. So in fact, whilst I'm on that topic, all of those sorts of bits of jewellery, which granted there weren't loads of, there was a chain necklace that belonged to my nan, there was, I think it's called a gate bracelet that my gran gave to me, and a necklace that was a Christmas gift from my dad a few years ago. All of those are sentimental pieces to me, and they've been put into boxes, proper jewellery boxes, and now they're safe in my memory boxes because it's unlikely that I'm going to wear them, because I'd be worried about them starting to wear, which the one from my dad did start to, and I really want to preserve it as it is. Or in the case of the ones from my nan or my gran, I just want them to be kept safe. I don't want to wear them out and about. I'd be worried about losing them. The sentimentality is more important than the functionality with those pieces for me. So this necklace was a gift from Tom, and this is from D. Louise. It's just a little padlock charm, and it's engraved with the letter T for his initial. And so I just wear that every single day. It pretty much goes with everything because it's such a simple piece. So this is every day, and these rarely come off, so that's quite easy. One thing I've stopped wearing every day are my rings. I don't have any sentimental rings, so there aren't any that I'd need to necessarily wear all the time. I do have other rings, getting there. So then my other jewellery, if you like, is my preferred going out jewellery, special occasion jewellery, date night jewellery, that sort of thing. So these are all pieces from D. Louise, and I purposefully bought them to sort of create a set and go with the style that I'm interested in, particularly when I'm dressing up. And if you've seen my other videos on my jewellery, you'll have seen these before. So we've just got, for starters, this necklace is half gold chain and then half pearl. They're not real pearls, they're actually mother of pearl shells, I believe. So I have that necklace, which I absolutely love when I'm getting dressed up and we're going out. I also have the matching bracelet from the same set, which I would wear on my right wrist. I always have my watch on my left wrist. I have played with the idea of having sort of a more elegant going out watch than my clunky, you know, sort of smart watch, which I pretty much have just for steps and all of that sort of thing. But it's very rare that I would change my watch, so it's not something I felt the necessity to branch out into. And then again, I have the matching earrings for that set. So there's those. And then I have my rings. Am I going to be able to do this without tipping them over the floor? Of which I have 5, all from D. Louise. And now, whilst I can't fault the longevity of the earrings, the necklace, the bracelets, I've worn this in the shower every single day since I've had it. It's fine. It's been fine with perfumes. It's been fine with sort of sun creams over the summer. Cannot fault it. I wear it at the gym. The rings, however, I can't back them up. So some of you may remember this particular ring. This is my second of this ring, because it was obviously gold, the sort of gold actually that, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, sort of that gold for the most part, but around the edges of it you might be able to see it has discoloured. Now that's my second one. I contacted them the first time about a year ago and sort of sent them pictures saying that it has discoloured, and all of their sort of selling point is that it's everlasting jewellery, it's life-proof jewellery, that you can use soaps and wash your hands and use perfumes and moisturisers and sun creams and everything, and they stand the test of time and they hold up against all those things. Obviously that is not true, and when I emailed them about that last time, they were really brilliant. They said this shouldn't happen to any of our products, you shouldn't find this happens to any of our products, and so naturally they replaced it, which was really good. But clearly it does happen to their products. It's not that it doesn't happen, it's that maybe if you're willing to keep getting in touch with them, then you can get a replacement, but I believe they have a 1-year warranty, and when I got my other one replaced last time I was just within that, and I wouldn't be now. I don't know whether it's worth me trying again, but quite honestly, as a customer, I feel like I'd be getting to the point where they might think I'm trying it on, because I'd want to say it about 4 out of the 5 rings that I own that the colour has come away. So obviously as a customer that had really good experiences with them up until this point, I was quite happy, and now it's sort of like, well, why are you saying that your products do something when they clearly don't? So that grates on you a little bit, and that's the same, I don't know what you'll be able to see, but that's the same on most of these. This one might be quite hard to see because it's so dainty. I stack this with another one. You can just sort of see silvery patches around the edge of it. The only one that has been fine so far, but I haven't had as long, is my little clover one. It's got a little green gemstone in the centre. This one, the same sort of thing. It's not really obvious, but in places it has gone a bit silvery, and the same again for this one. And you know, in fairness, in one of my jewellery videos in the past, someone did comment sort of stop spending your money on this sort of jewellery, especially when things like the necklaces can be in the region of £70, and you know, it's only got some sort of gold coating on, it's not actually gold. Then someone did comment at the time, this is why you should invest in, you know, real gold pieces. And I think that's why I've not bothered with rings anymore, and I think in the future that's probably the way I'll go. If I get to the point where I feel like the jewellery I have is worn out and is no longer working for me, I don't think I want to be in a position where I waste money on things that aren't going to last. So maybe that person was right. In terms of keeping them clean, that was another thing that someone asked me. This one especially, because it's a shiny surface, it gets fingerprints on it if I touch it. I find the best thing to keep this shiny is a soft towel. I just get the corner or a flannel and I just wipe it over on there, and I found that's fine, but obviously I wear this in the shower so it's getting cleaned quite a bit. Likewise with rings, when I'm washing my hands, they're getting cleaned quite a bit and fading as a result. The only other thing is with earrings. Whenever I take off a pair of earrings, I always just use a tissue, like a soft tissue that you'd get out of a box, not like a rougher tissue, and just clean the piece where it's gone through your ear. And if it's one like this, it's always worth just opening up and checking the hinge is clean as well. And again, just a little wipe with a tissue just to maintain them. And I found then, because you're not getting them wet or anything, you're not taking off the surface, there's no need to sort of polish them, especially things like this where they're not real gold or silver or anything like that. And honestly, I found that is just the best way forward. So for me, it's very much everyday jewellery, going out jewellery, and a bit of sentimental jewellery that's in my memory box, and nothing else gets worn if I'm being realistic. So that's where I'm at with jewellery, and I just keep all of my going out jewellery in this little box, which is really convenient. It all fits in there, takes up very little storage space, and I'm wearing the rest. And as I've said, the others are in my memory boxes, which has been really great because obviously I know where everything is. When I'm getting ready to go out, I can just grab this, or even better, if I'm going away and I know we'll be going out for dinner, even if it's just like a weekend away or whether it's a long trip, I can just grab this and pack it in my case, which obviously is handy in itself. I'm gonna wrap this video up. This has probably been quite long by the time I've edited all the week's sprinkling of bits together. So thank you for watching. Let me know as I sort of am exploring this new way of dividing the content up on my channel. My video, my first one of A Lighter Life, is due to go live in about 2 hours, so I'm going to be sat at my computer and sort of monitoring feedback on that. So if you've not seen that one already, or you've not left me any feedback on it, then please do consider it, because I'd be interested to know if people like that style of content. That one was just sort of my trial one. You might have even noticed I used some of my old B-roll for it, because I prefer to use and create my own B-roll so it's more authentically me. But for that one, as I was sort of testing the waters, I thought I'll use a bit of what I already had. I also used a bit of stock footage, which again, I don't like to do too much, but it helped me to tell the story. So if that's the sort of style of video that you're interested in, then I will spend the time making the B-roll for that and doing it more authentic to me and my style. But yeah, let me know if you like this sort of division of more, I guess, informative, useful videos, because I know a lot of people lean towards those for, especially like the saving stuff and sort of watching them when you need a reminder about saving and things like that and strategies for that. But then it's also nice to have this more lifestyle, chatty, what's going on, actually on the ground, living this sort of minimal lifestyle where you save money and all of that sort of stuff. So let me know your thoughts, and we will wrap this one up here. Thank you for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind giving the video a thumbs up, it really supports my channel. If you're new here and you've made it all the way to the end of a vlog, feel free to subscribe. You're kind of joining us at a bit of a new chapter. Have a lovely week ahead of you, and I will see you in another video very soon. Until next time, take care. Bye.